Will Roger Federer ever be done? Roger Federer was supposed to be finished. Or at least exiting gracefully, getting on with his transition to post-tennis things. But then, in January, after 5 years without a Grand Slam and a season sidelined by injury, he went ahead and won again. Not as the unflappable perfectionist but, for the first time, as a rangy underdog. In the immediate afterglow of the Australian Open, Federer brought GQ to his mountaintop home in Switzerland, where we learn about his life off the court and just how much longer he feels he can pull off the impossible. Hell, for Roger Federer, is talking about life after tennis. For years now. The questions have crept in as Federer, 35 and troubled by injuries, seemed to be drifting off the court. Reporters demanded to know, when will you stop? What comes next? Maybe a farewell tour before you wander away into the Alps? All the sporting world seemed to want, after nearly 2 decades of idol worship, was a forwarding address for where to send a thank you note. But then, a few months ago, something happened. Something extraordinary. Defying all expectations, Federer won this year's Australian Open. His 18th major title, the most ever for a man in a sport, and his first Grand Slam in 5 years. Among the 18, this one was special. Perhaps the most special, he told me. It came after he'd taken a months-long break, his first significant time away from tennis since he was a teenager, in part because of a knee injury he'd suffered during the last Australian Open while drawing his daughters a bath, of all things, but also because he'd been feeling worn out. So to return at his age, after no competitive matches for months, and triumph over his greatest rival, Rafael Nadal, on one of the sport's grandest stages. The feeling was ecstasy. It couldn't have come at a more pivotal moment. Early in the tournament, during an on-court interview, Federer acknowledged his underdog status, reminding fans that the only thing he'd won lately was *GQ single quote *'*s most stylish man and online competition in which readers carried him to victory over Kanye West and Ryan Gosling. At least I won something, he said wryly, referring to a 14-month trophy drought, and this from a guy whose life is essentially predicated on winning, shattering records with no grunts, no sweat, 302 weeks as world number 1. In many eyes, the GOAT. Still, as the 17th seed in Melbourne, he'd known he didn't have a shot. To reach the quarterfinals would have been a success. But then it happened. Winning Australia, it solves so many problems, he said. And so, feeling generous, perhaps a little insulated by success, he extended an invitation for a visit. High up at his retreat in Switzerland, just 5 days after the final, to talk about tennis and not tennis, at this beginning of yet another chapter in his career. He didn't just quiet the hecklers by winning, he changed the narrative. Millions of fans got to feel a storyline shift under their feet, and Federer felt it, too. So who is he? What is he? I went to the mountains to find out, at the same time equipped with the single question he'd least want to answer, the one that keeps his fans twitching like so many addicts between hits. After all these years of pulling off the impossible, how many more could we really expect?